Delicious.
On today's episode of Why You Suck at PUBG, I wanted to take some time to talk about peeking. Peeking, as a mechanic, is something that is quite unique to PUBG in terms of Battle Royale shooters. For the uninitiated, peeking is the act of leaning your character's body either left or right, off the center of mass, oftentimes done so to look around cover. To do this, the default key bindings are set to Q for leaning left and E for leaning right. I know there are several videos out there showing you how to better utilize these key bindings, but because I don't really come from a PC shooter background, these never really felt comfortable or efficient to me. Instead, I bound my left and right peek to the forward and back thumb buttons on my mouse. This allows me to have my movement unencumbered while being able to peek left and right. I realize this might not work for everyone, so I encourage you to find whatever is comfortable and stick with that. The reason peeking is so important is because it allows you to gather information and take shots without needing to fully expose your body to harm's way. Which seems obvious enough, but if you've played a lot of other shooters like Call of Duty or Counter-Strike, this might seem foreign to you and is certainly something you'll want to get used to while playing PUBG. I'm certain most players who are already playing this game know this, but I wanted to provide a little extra context for some of the things I wanted to show you in this video. First up, I wanted to discuss point of view and how that relates to exposure. It's important to note that when you peek around cover, you'll want to keep in mind how much of yourself you're actually exposing by doing so. I know for myself, I've had many cases in the past where I felt like I was only peeking out a little bit, but when I review the kill cam, I can clearly see that almost my entire character model was exposed, resulting in my death. Because your bullets leave the end of your gun and not from the center of your player's point of view, it forces you to expose yourself further out around cover to be able to shoot, so you should always keep in mind how much of you is being seen by the other player. When engaging in 1v1 firefights, it's important to understand when and where to peek someone. The worst thing you can do in these situations is to sit in one spot and re-peek the same position, because this is going to be the easiest way to get one shot in the head. Instead, you owe it to yourself to switch to the different sides of whatever you're taking cover behind and even changing up your stance from crouching to standing. Doing so could be the deciding factor in who comes out alive. If during one of these fights you find yourself in a situation where you need to switch guns or need to reload, then one good tip is to step yourself in and out of cover as quickly as you can. Doing so will keep the other player's attention and in most cases will continue to peek and expose themselves with the hope of landing a shot on you. This is good because it does a couple of things. In this case, the other player is giving away his position and alerting other nearby players of his location. As for you, it keeps you informed of his position as well, but also makes lining up your shot that much easier when your target hasn't moved from its original position. Now, with all that said, if you're going to peek, re-peek, and angle to try to get a quick headshot, then you're going to want to practice something called the quick peek shot. If you've ever watched Chocotaco stream, you're probably familiar with what this looks like. It's a move that looks super clean, making this technique so gosh darn effective and super satisfying to execute. Here's how it works. The basic idea behind the quick peek shot is that you want to try and expose yourself as little as possible while you jiggle your peek back and forth to line up your shot. Once you lock in where you're aiming, your next move is to try to peek out as quickly as you can, in most cases before you've reached the full peek animation, making sure the barrel of your gun clears whatever cover you're behind, taking your shot, and releasing your peek the moment you've shot. If done correctly, you'll notice that you're already back behind cover before the bullet even hits its target. Because situations like this can be difficult to practice during a game, I suggest heading over to the 1,000-meter range in the training grounds. Here, you'll be able to find all the different sniper rifles, scopes, and ammo you'll need to practice this technique. This move isn't too hard to perfect since it all comes down to timing and committing it to muscle memory. Once you do though, you'll find yourself on the winning end of more peak battle gunfights. And of course, one less reason why you suck at PUBG.